Hey, Shalom, Shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop, the Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Shbachanak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha, Kwadash. And this is going to be another in transit lesson while I'm on the move. You know, the Spirit's on me to to prophesy, to speak, to do a lesson. Give me a second. Goddamn fly in here. Hate flies. Yeah, the Spirit's on me to do a lesson. I was watching this one video. I didn't even really get to all of the video as I was, getting prepared to leave the house. And it's from this one content creator. Give me a second. Yeah. This disturbing video made me lose sleep. It's from Hours of Horror. I only watched like 1-2 minutes of it, but basically he was bringing up the fact that, this thing with the dude who got assassinated. Is his name Charlie or something like that? Yeah, Charlie Kirk. He got assassinated, and how the elites, the people in power, these social media platforms, okay, are allowing the people to watch, all right, these videos, the so-called stabbings, so-called graphic videos, videos of assassinations, the blood leaking out. You can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on X, you can watch it on all these different social media platforms. And he was proposing an argument that these elites they want you to see these things. Okay, they want you to see, all right, these horrific events, because that's going to invoke emotions. Okay, and there's a narrative that they want to play upon. They want to paint. All right, they're pushing towards more division. They're pushing towards more political division between the right and the left, as well as racial division between Jacob and Esau, so-called black man, so-called white man. Okay, and these social media platforms, they are allowing you to watch these videos. They're allowing you to vent your anger online without these videos getting taken down now. Remember the whole thing in 2020, 2001, 2022, even 2023, there was heavy censorship. Okay, there was heavy censorship. You could barely say anything, key terms, they'll take down a video. Now, you can relatively talk about these topics freely. Okay, and then when I was on the comment board, you check some of the comments, right? Let me read some of the comments. All right, we are being baited into a race war in the UK too. Any excuse to implement further surveillance and control over every last breath and thought you ever had. So there's a lot of people that see these things. Okay, and most of them are not Jake. Most of them are Edomites. Okay, the children of this world are wiser in their generation than the children of light. The children of light, that's the Israelites. Okay, and Esau, he's wiser in this generation than Jake is, because Esau actually, he looks things up, he reads. Okay, now there's a lot of Edomites that are confused, and none of them are going to come to the full understanding of the truth. They'll have certain truths. Okay, what is that? Daniel 12 and 10. Okay, it speaks about none of the wicked shall understand, but the righteous shall understand. Right? Also in Sirach, I believe it's either 38 or 39. As his words are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. So there's a lot of stumbling blocks. There's a lot of pitfalls. There's a lot of traps. okay, that are being set, that are being laid. All right, just as this individual say, bait and switches, or baited. You're being baited. Your emotions are rousing up. Okay, emotions are being roused up. Okay, all to incite further friction between these different forces. The political force, they either call them the radical left or the radical right, the extremist or the extreme right, or the radical left, right? And then now you have assassination of political figures, which he wasn't in politics, but he was a political activist. He had particular talking points. Of course, he was a so-called racist, which all these Edomites are racist. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. All right, they want their race to be supreme, and now that they're seeing their race, so-called race, starting to be replaced with migrants, okay, with Jake, Esau is mad, upset, and the wicked elite, they're playing on that because they want you to fight each other so they can bring in more surveillance control. All right, they can bring in these different technologies, and there will be excuse to declare national emergencies, give more power to the executive branch, and ultimately lock your ass up into a digital system, okay, into the blockchain, which is the chain. Okay, let me read a couple more, and I want to get a scripture, because ultimately none of this is going to work on the elect. And you even have Esau that's seeing what is actually going on, because it's ironic. Why are they allowing all this stuff to come out? Why is there so much shit going on all at the same time? Meanwhile, you have the thing with Epstein and Trump. That's, some documents were released. I believe it was the day before or the same day that the dude got assassinated. So a lot of it is to divert your attention from heavier matters, from you questioning the powers to be, the elite. Because people are concerned. There's a lot of people that are concerned, all right, with the current state of this world. All right, there's a lot of people that call out the so-called government, and they can't have that influence spread. So they have to cause distractions. And I'm just reading comments. I'm not saying this is what I'm saying, okay? Charlie Kirk, this is from Mediocrats222. Charlie Kirk shooting has CIA/Mossad written all over it. Okay, how are the things of Esau sought up? All right, Obadiah, I believe that's 1 and 6. Let me just bring that as a quick scripture. I can't do too intensive reading because I'm driving, and this wasn't supposed to be like a long video. Okay, yeah, Obadiah verse 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Okay, because all this secrecy that Esau was able to dwell in the shadows, everything is coming out. Why your average everyday American? Why do they know about CIA? Why do they know about the Mossad? Why are they equating these so-called random events with, all right, these different intelligence agencies setting them up? Why is that even a thing? False flags, black swan events, predictive programming. Why is that even a thing? Why do people even equate? Why would people question the narrative? Okay, Esau is now being questioned for everything that he does. And the internet, you got a lot of people that are tapped into the internet that are high level in different, video photography and editing, high level editing, and CGI and AI, that will look at these videos and they'll nitpick them and critique them, and they'll do videos on it, and they'll bring up certain facts. Like supposedly now there was I was watching the Jimmy Dore show. There was a sniper that was that was spotted and they have video of the sniper. Okay, and then the point is, there was another point somebody brought up in one of these videos, how you have Palantir and you got all these technologies, that these different cameras that are all connected, and you can track down anybody in the world. Okay, but you don't know where the shooter is at. He just escapes you. You know, you can't pull none of the footage. A lot of the times the footage was lost. They can't find the footage. Surprisingly, the cameras were turned off at that particular hour, but then they got turned back on. So it's just highly convenient. Okay. So this is from StripTeasy8481. I absolutely, and it looked like a Jake. Let me see. No, this is it'll Edomite. When I clicked on this icon, but he had a beard. Looked like almost like a ginger. Looked like he could be like Irish. But who knows? Who cares? I absolutely believe there is something more to this event. The timing seems way too convenient. There is so much afoot right now. It's perfect time for a distraction. I hope we can realize that there isn't a Democratic versus Republican issue before we run ourselves fully into the ground. Right. Because they're giving you the issue. They're telling you people, why you should be upset, why you should be mad. And they're allowing you to see particular content online. All right, when other content they'll censor. Why do they allow this to be the main focus of media, while the real important matters like NATO enacting Article 4 and possibly going to Article 5, which means active war with Russia, which means the United States has to officially come into the war with Russia. All right, troops being activated in Venezuela for a so-called invasion, or even Russia so-called about to invade Poland. Okay. Epstein files with these different political leaders. All right. You just had the bombing. All right. Qatar, Israel bombed a sovereign nation. All right. And these Arab nations are, pretty much they're getting sick and tired. There's only so much you can do, and you keep poking the bear. You keep poking a wild animal that's, even like a like a water buffalo, which they're very docile creatures. But if you do something, you keep fucking with them, they'll run your ass over, and they'll stomp you out to death. Okay, let me get I want to get Isaiah 47, because again, even your average Edomite, they're saying, well, this doesn't seem like what it at face value. There's something fishy here. It's very convenient that all these things are happening. The stories are not lining up. Why now are they allowing us to see all this? Why is this taking up time, space? Why is this taking up time and space on the mainstream media? All these, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's stopping to talk about, it, which is going to go away. Give it a couple of days. It's just going to be, news. The next crazy event is going to come. But this is how they're able to manipulate the people and manipulate emotions and basically captivate and control. It's all forms of witchcraft. But see, Esau, we still know your plan. The Heavenly Father still has his eye on you. Okay, you're still going to be caught up. You're caught in this trap. You have to go along with it, even though you're being exposed. Even though there's a lot of people that know somewhat what's going on, you're still going to go ahead, all right, with the plan. You're too far in. You're too far deep. Okay? But let me bring this out because it's not going to go well. The plan is going to fall. It's going to crumble. It's going to implode on itself. And ultimately, the Lord is only dealing with his elect. See, that's the point. You can fool the majority of the people. That's okay. We might end it off in Matthew 24 and 24. Okay? You can fool a lot of people, E. You've been given the I believe, is that Revelation 6? Correct me. Where it talks about, you know, he was given power to deceive the nations again. It might not be Revelation 6, but it's in the book of Revelation. I can always look it up. I'm not going to look it up. But he had power to deceive the nations when he came, you know, when that beast, that dragon, the wound was healed. He was given a sword, all right, and he was given the ability to deceive the nations again. All right, but now that he's at his latter end, okay, his witchcraft does not work as it used to work. He doesn't have power over the media. He has to continue to keep lying and lying and lying and lying. And when you continue to lie, you start trapping your own tongue up. Well, it talks about that. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. You basically telling on yourself. You know, but you're so caught up in the lie that you forget that you said that. You were just in the moment. Esau, he's been in power for so long where he was able just to freestyle and just say whatever hell he wanted to say. And the people just looked at him with open ass eyes, open mouth, tongue all out. Like, yeah, that's true. That makes sense. But now he's being questioned. Second Ezra, the 6th chapter, goes into, I believe it's 6 or maybe 8. It goes into the Inquisition. I believe it's 6. But let me bring this out. Right? This is Isaiah 47. I'm going to read 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. And mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly. In the midst of all this chaos, in the midst of you clamping down, the devil coming down, all right? Total power over the people, military, police state, okay? Drones everywhere. You completely tapped into all levels of technology, surveilling everybody. If somebody says something that you don't like, they do a post you don't like, you can turn their account off. You can deplatform them. Maybe this individual had crazy ass driver. Maybe this individual had, you know, 200, 300, a million followers. They were making, you know, $10,000 a month, $5,000, $3,000, $20,000 a month. All right, so you incentivized, you gave people all this ability to speak and make money, you know, the freedom of speech. And now you have the ability to clamp down on them because you got them hooked on them goodies. You got them hooked on that money. All right? So this is another form of control. All right? So people are scared. They're seeing these big time certain celebrities like Russell Brand and, you know, even like Alex Jones, and you had what's the guy, Aaron Tate, or what is it? What's the Tate? Was it Aaron Tate or some crazy shit? What's the dude's name? The Tate brothers, right? Which a lot of these dudes, most of them, they're all control opposition. Okay, they were all set up to do that. All right, and then you censor them, deplatform them, and then that scares all your other influencers to keep in tune. There's certain things that they can't say. They especially can't speak about the small hat. But regardless of the fact, you're going too far. So people are going to say, fuck it. Like Gerald Celente say, I'm going to steal what he says. When people have nothing else to lose, they lose it. So Esau he's taking everything. Okay? He wants you to be a complete zombie. Follow everything that he says. Don't question the narrative. Okay? Don't question the narrative. Don't say shit. You gonna eat the bugs. You will own nothing and you will be happy. That's the spirit that he wants you to be. He's getting ready. He's getting ready to come and take everything. But he's going to do it under peace and safety. But he has to cause all these different distractions. He can't have you knowing what his plan is. He got to get you distracted on video games. Okay? He got to get you distracted on adult content online. You know, them nasty movies. He got to get you addicted to porn. Give me a second. You know, he got to have you women selling your bodies, getting money selling your bodies. You know, not building families, aborting your children, hooked on social media. Okay, hooked on medication. Okay, and distracted with all these different events. You know, stirring up and rousing up your emotions to get you to protest and to say certain shit so he can come down with the hammer on your bitch ass. But again, it's not going to work on the elect. All right, call all Yahweh Shema Shai. Remember, the elect have victory. The remnant have victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark, over the number of his name. Okay? So throughout all this, the Lord is going to make a way. The Lord's going to have a force field around Jake, around their families. So some of us will be martyrs, but our faith will be kept all the way into the end. And you have to believe that. That's why you got to put your trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. Okay, and the scriptures say what? Make your calling and election sure. I'm sorry. Give diligence. Give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Can't forget that. So what? Throughout all this distractions that this damn devil is doing, all this confusion, right? The destruction is going to come upon him suddenly. All right? You're going to be, oh, shit, what happened? The elites, they're going to be running in their bunkers. Verse 12, stand now with thy enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries. And all these are enchantments and sorceries. Esau is the highest level witch warlock on the planet Earth. The highest level enchanter. The highest level magi. Everything is sleight of hand. Mind you, he is likened unto a serpent. A serpent is all about stealth. A serpent is all about striking when you don't see them. Hitting you with the venom, boom, hit your ass with the venom, and then fall back and let your ass die out. There's certain animals it'll strike, and it might take several hours, a day, for the animal to die. Okay, even like the Komodo dragon, they'll bite a particular animal, you know, like a bigger animal, like in a deer species, and their saliva is poisonous, you know, and it might take a couple of days for that animal to slowly drop dead, and then once it drops dead, then they come and they devour. Okay, so you people, you've been hit with the venom already, literally too. Literally, you people have been literally hit with Esau's venom. But you got so many people dropping dead, man. Okay. So Esau is a top musician. He tapped into all things left hand. All the spirit cooking, the highest level, the highest of the highest level of the children's sacrifice, all that. And again, Esau is allowing a lot of these things to come out. Why? Because he's destroying the old system to bring in the new. And this is part of, look it up, the revelation of the method. Okay, then Satanism, they want you to know what they're doing. It's all part of their witchcraft. And with the multitude of thy sorceries wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. Yeah, because America was actually established on sorcery. It wasn't established on Judeo-Christian values. That's far from the truth. How do we know? All we got to do is go open the book. Open the book and then side by side compare that with Esau's history of how he established America. And it's obvious to see that it was established by violence. I mean, how could you argue that? Okay? But see, Esau, he's been able just to spin the narrative. He's been able to say one thing and just, turn the mic off. And not give you a platform to speak. But behind the scenes, these tensions have been rising up. The truth is coming out. The truth shall flourish. Okay? It says, if so be, thou shalt be able to profit, if so be, thou mayest prevail. Right, so let's see if all these distractions, these assassinations, okay, the collapse of the financial system, the bringing in of the digital currency. All right, you're gonna collapse the internet. You're gonna pretty much, he's gonna do a hard reset on the internet. Okay, where you can look it up. Okay, WEF. All right, Cyber Polygon. If I'm saying that, yeah, am I saying that right? Cyber Polygon. Is it the Cyber Polygon? Give me a second. Cyber is basically a cyber pandemic, right? And you can look it up. There's a video, right? There's a video on the WEF. It is not. Hold on. It's a video on WEF. Excuse me. A cyber attack like COVID, with COVID-like, okay, characteristics. A cyber attack with COVID-like characteristics. So it's going to be like a plague that's going to plague the internet. And pretty much they're able to scrub the internet. They're able to scrub the internet from all these different videos, all this, whatever they want to scrub it, and they can start new. And you're going to be start with a new system. So there's going to be a lot of confusion out there. There's going to be, what's that, Isaiah 24. There's a crying for wine in the streets. All right? And any information that gets online, they can say, when it comes back online, that's AI, or that's not true. So he thinks he can just get out of it. Okay? Well, he's not going to get out of it. Okay? He's not going to get out of it. All right? Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsel. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, that they shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before. Also in Isaiah 19, it says that they shall seek to charmers and wizards and familiar spirits. All right, but all these, and then you got a goddamn a driverless car. Okay? None of these things are going to be able to save you, E. You've been caught. You've been found. The information's already out. The Lord's word is already out. He can destroy you now. But he's not going to destroy you until you roll out your MOTB system. And all you individuals that deny that this is what's going on, well, you're just part of the 2/3, and you're going to be destroyed. Now, I was going to go to Matthew 24. Let me just read that. Let me just actually go, and we're going to close it there. Matthew 24 and 24. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets. Esau is a false messiah, and he's a false prophet. Okay, because he's saying peace and safety. He's saying this is going to be salvation. Just tap into my system. And shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. All right, but you're not going to be able to deceive the elect. So I'm going to close there until next time. Shalom to the elect.